had a question from a viewer. They have some crazy username that I'm not going to be able to piece together. But their question to me is, why would I smash a newer white belt or a lower belt, right? So in one of my videos, I talked about the fact that I will smash lower belts from time to time. And their question to me is kind of like, why would you do such a thing? Look at you. You have technique, you have strength, you have all these things. And then you're going to smash someone who doesn't have the same level of technique and all they've got is their physical attributes. Wouldn't it be better to set the bar a little bit lower and to maybe increase it slowly and be conscious and not just beat them up? You know, why would I do such a thing? Why would I smash a white belt? Why would I smash a lower belt? Do I just have this giant ego that can't take it, or do I just like being an asshole to people, right? Well, it's neither of those things. I mean, I've got an ego. We've all got one, but it's not to make the experience worse for someone. It's actually to make it better. Like, I smash them because I actually want to make them better. Now, I don't smash my white belts all the time, but there are times where it's called for. I'll give you kind of a parallel, if you will. So on Thursdays, I have been doing horse lessons with my wife, and we've been going to these place riding horses. I've gotten really into it. We have a horse here on our property, and so I'm kind of getting into the whole horse thing, right? It's fun. Some of you guys commented on the video that I posted, the vlog, talking about, oh, hey, I'm a horse person, right? And so as a horse person, you probably understand that when you ride a horse, it's so much more challenging than what it looks like, right? Like, if you ever ride a horse and get them moving, you will watch every movie that you see, like where someone's riding a horse, with a different level of respect for what they're doing. It's very similar to jiu-jitsu, where you can watch people roll around and you're just like, I think I can do that, right? And then you roll with someone, you're like, oh my God, I'm exhausted after 3 seconds and this little 140 pounder is choking me out, right? It's a different experience to feel it. And so I've been riding horses with my wife. And so I've been riding this horse, and one of the horses that I've been riding is a really chill horse, right? And there are certain horses that are just, they ride smooth. And there's other horses that don't. There's other horses that will test you. It's all over the place, right? And like the horse that I've been riding is very much, we'll consider them like, they're a very white belt friendly horse. So I'm on this horse and I'm feeling pretty good about myself. I've got him trotting. I've got him at a canter, which is kind of like a jog, you know what I mean? And I'm moving around. I'm like, oh, look at me. I think I'm pretty good at this stuff now, you know? And I'm like, I'm a white belt at horse riding, but I'm like, I'm a pretty good white belt now, aren't I? You know, because I'm riding this horse around. Well, the next week I remember having that moment where I was feeling pretty damn good about myself, right? And the next week, the person that teaches us put me on a different horse. This horse is a little bit faster. They have a little bit choppier of a feel sometimes. Still a great horse, still super responsive and just fun to ride. But all of a sudden, a lot of the things that I've been used to were starting to go out the window, because I had been used to this guy who had a very particular smooth gait. He was very forgiving. Now I'm on this horse and she's not so forgiving, and she's a lot faster and she's moving a lot more, and I've got to be a lot more forceful with my commands to her and to get her to respond. And it's a different environment. And what happened is I had been getting away with some basic fundamental stuff, like not pushing properly into my stirrups and stuff with this horse, where now all those little fundamentals that I was missing, this is very important because it's not as forgiving anymore. And now I've got to step up my game, and it's a good thing, right? It kind of like made me feel like, oh, you know what? Messed up. Now I got to go back and bring myself back in. It was a nice check, if you will, to my horse riding ego. Now, what does that have to do with jiu-jitsu, right? Well, check it out. With white belts, a lot of times when they come in, I can tell a white belt all day long, hey, don't do X, Y, or Z. But a lot of times they do it. They just continue to do it forever until they have some negative feeling to associate it with. So for instance, when I was riding the horse and I wasn't pressing properly into the stirrups, I feel like I'm literally ready to bounce out of my damn seat because I'm not glued into it properly when I got her to a canter. That was a negative feeling. I don't want to fall forward and fall flat on my face on this friggin' ground, right? So it was a good lesson. Okay, let's really dig into those stirrups. With a white belt, if I go in and they leave their face wide open and they're not putting their hand block like I've told them to, or putting something in a particular position, giving them a little smash in there, it makes them go, oh, that I don't like that feeling, right? And there's been a lot of times where I've had white belts where they'll do the bench press, and I'll say, hey, let's stop bench pressing, push on the hips, build your frames, all the stuff that we tell them, and they don't listen. So I'm like, okay, armbar, and if they do it again, armbar, and I will keep armbarring them until they put their hands in a damn frame. Usually it takes 1 or 2 arm bars and then they were good. And that's the thing with jiu-jitsu. Very much like anything else, it's the feeling. You got to feel it sometimes for yourself. We can talk forever, right? Until we're blue in the face. I think that's the saying, right? Talk till you're blue in the face. You can talk till you're blue in the face about a particular thing, but ultimately, a lot of times the lessons that really stick with us are the lessons where we have a feeling associated, especially a negative one, associated with it, where it kind of like woke us up. You know, if you think about a lot of the jiu-jitsu lessons that you've learned, you probably have a nice little negative association with it. I made a mistake, not making that one again because coach smashed me, or I lost this tournament because I made this mistake, or whatever it might be. And even off the mat, you can think of the same thing, right? Like, tell a kid not to do something. What are they going to do? They're going to do it because they have to feel it. And you're like, you know, like it's almost like, how many times did our parents tell us? If you're a parent, how many times have you told your kid, told you so, right? You got to kind of experience it yourself. And so when you're too nice to a white belt, it's like being too nice to me as a rider, right? It's like, oh, like I'm feeling pretty good. You'll have white belts that are getting away with stuff that they shouldn't be getting away with, and they'll be feeling pretty good about themselves, but they're making fundamental mistakes, and you don't want that to happen. You want them to be smarter about it. So again, if you take it too easy on them, you're not preparing them for what's really going to happen later on if they compete or if they roll with someone that's not taking it easy on them. Now, I don't smash them all the time. There is a balance, of course. You strike. A little bit of talk, a little bit of correction mixed in with a little bit of smash, and we just kind of flow back and forth and treat every situation unique. But again, sometimes it's useful to smash people. You know, and this isn't just for white belts. This is for blue belts, purple belts, and on up. You know, again, that's not a bad thing. Again, it makes us tougher, it makes us better, and a lot of times we respond to those negative situations that we encounter on the mats more than the ones that are positive, because if it's working, hey, it's good. When we're losing, when we're getting smashed, we want to fix that problem, and it sort of makes us take notice. So anyway, that is the idea. That is why I will smash my students from time to time to help make them better and to help them learn, especially with white belts when they're newer. And hopefully that answers your question. And guys, I'll talk to you next time.